Greetings, boys and girls around the world. This is my explanation follow-through of the rather perplexing animation I made entitled Not So Fast. I'd like to start off by touching on the topic. What shall I call this topic? The army of misguided, well-intentioned activists in America. An army of misguided political activists in America. What has this got to do with Einstein? I hope to explain what this has to do with Einstein and his theory of relativity. I would like to put forth the thesis, the possibility for your consideration, that any group of people that on the one hand opposes nuclear power and on the other hand oppose the use of coal or petroleum for whatever reasons, the possibility exists is that they are inadvertently, unknowingly, unwittingly being used by America's enemies. Now you have to allow into your mind the possibility that America has enemies. In other words, allow into your mind the possibility that as there have been aggressors, antagonists, would-be conquerors in the past, the same potential exists today for militarism, conquering, exploitation geopolitically, competition for the position of superpower of the world. You have to allow the possibility that there may be competitors with your country, the United States of America. There may be somebody or some group or some person, a dictator perhaps, who's out to confuse or weaken or hamper or conquer, destroy the United States for whatever twisted ideas he entertains in his head. The Doppler effect is real. Whenever you hear an airplane or a helicopter, an automobile, especially an automobile with a loud music box, boom box playing, and it's going thump, thump, thump as it approaches you and then passes by you and goes on down the road away from you, you hear that thump, 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 thump. You hear it get deeper and slower as the car goes away. It gets faster and higher pitched as the car approaches. That's the Doppler effect. Light behaves in a similar fashion, except light travels much faster, and the Doppler effect, light's Doppler effect, is less noticeable unless you've got sensitive instruments that can see that the light actually shifts in color. Approaching light is bluish and retreating light is reddish. My position is the Doppler effect is real, but it has no effect on the passage of time, whether it's time inside a spaceship or on board the space station or on board a jet plane or a jetliner or a helicopter or an automobile or on a bicycle. Motion has no effect on time, but any object emitting sound or light or radio waves is affected by the Doppler effect. You get more waves as the emitter approaches you, you get more waves faster, and as the source of the radio waves or light or sound goes away from you, the waves decrease in frequency, the Doppler effect. But why should anybody assume that that has any effect on time? There have supposedly been experiments where sensitive clocks were put on board aircraft and sent flying in different parts of the world, different distances, and I'm aware of that, but I'm suspicious of it. Supposedly, in other words, Einstein's theory of relativity has been tested repeatedly, and it's always held up. Therefore, Einstein was correct. Relativity is a fact. I'm not so sure. And that's why I entitled my little animation, Not So Fast, meaning, wait just a second, think this over, check this out before you swallow the bait, hook, line, and sinker. This might be a scam like global warming turned out to be. It could be a well-orchestrated, well-financed, well-prepared scam, such as global warming, such as the movement to prevent us from using energy. We should be economic powerhouse, and we would consume a tremendous amount of energy in order to put out this output. All of the products, all the automobiles, and all the steel, and all the ships. We have to have energy to do that. Only our enemies would want to cut off our energy source. So that gives you an idea of my take on Einstein and relativity. Specifically in regard to Einstein, the FBI accumulated a file on Einstein, as they did other communists during the 40s and 50s, until it became unfashionable to watch subversives who would advocate the overthrow of the Constitution. Now it's so fashionable to trash the Constitution, we've elected a president who is famous for trashing and disregarding, overlooking the Constitution. He routinely disregards anything constitutional, even though he swore an oath to uphold it and defend it. Obviously, he had his fingers crossed, and he was only fooling when he promised to protect and defend and uphold the Constitution of the United States of America. So help me God. And he might not even be a Christian, he might be a Muslim. That's the kind of world we live in, and that's the reason that I am freaky about relativity, among other things, because I know Einstein's background. I know his companions, his fellow travelers. I know where he was coming from.